Welcome back, students. Today we are going to continue working with extrusions in Autodesk Inventor. And what we're going to do is we're going to model the part that we're going to be making in the shop, okay? We have to start off with a drawing, right? We have to start off with a design. Once the drawing is completed and approved, at that point, you can start making it. So, all right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share my screen. And once I share my screen, you will see that I have already opened up Autodesk Inventor. Okay, it's open. So for those of you, your computers are working, I would like for you to try to do this with me. I will go at a very slow pace. If you do not have access to the software, I would just encourage you to take some shorthand notes or just pay attention to the video. You will have access to this video, okay, after the lecture. All right, so your screen looks like this when you open up Inventor, all right? Now, we're going to start off making a new drawing. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself here, eventually we are going to create what they call a project. What is a project? A project is like a folder, and that's where you store all the parts related to your project, okay? You store all the parts related to your project in the folder, right? So anyway, when you, you've created documents before where you store all your stuff in the file, correct? And it's kind of what you're doing here. But what happens, let's say you create a project called New Horizons, and then you created another project called Virginia Peninsula Community College. If you're working on something related to New Horizons, but you are currently in your VPCC project, right? Then when you go to save your stuff, it's not going to put it in the New Horizons folder. You have to make sure you are current in the right project. I will show you how to do that later. All right, so if you are in Inventor, as you should be, I'm going to go ahead and click on New. All right, so everybody clicked on New, right? I told you I was going to move slow, but we're going to do this right. We're going to do it the right way, okay? The units. What's the units of measure for this particular project? Well, this one is going to be English. We will be doing some metric units as well. But I'm just going to show you what happens if you don't see that? What happens if you don't see the units? You have to look at this little arrow right here, and you're going to expand that. When you expand it, you see it's English, metric, and mold design. Please click on English, okay? Then we know what units we're using. We want to go over here, and then I want you to click on this icon. And this icon is what? Standard IPT. IPT stands for Inventor Part File. At some point, you will see that on a quiz or a test or something. What does IPT mean? It means Inventor Part File. And the units are in inches. All right. Now, we're going to come down here to the lower right-hand corner, and we're going to select Create. It takes a second. You have to give it some time. And eventually, if your computer is pretty fast, it will look like what you see here. Okay. Now, top left-hand corner, select File, and then come down here. Oops, sorry. Forgive me. I didn't want to select file. Just hit anywhere on the screen. Click anywhere on the screen. Got ahead of myself. Click on Start 2D Sketch. And then click on Start 2D Sketch again. Now, when I say click, that means click with the left mouse button. Click means left mouse button. If I say right click means the right mouse button. One more time, click is left mouse button, right click is the right mouse button. When I clicked on these menu items here, what came up? If you just take your mouse and slowly move it over each of these planes, it will identify these planes, and you can sketch on any of these planes you desire. If I hover here, what does it say? It says the XY plane, correct? What if I hover on this one? What does it say? It's the YZ plane. If I hover here, it's the what? XZ plane. Now, Mr. Morris, 90% of the time, selects this plane right here as the XY plane. Click on that. All right. Now, what is this line and what is this line? Well, this line is our vertical axis. This is the y-axis. This is y, and this is x. If you forget what axis this is and what axis this is, all you have to do is look down here in the lower left-hand corner where you see the green arrow is the y-axis and the red arrow is the x-axis, okay? Now, if you want to, this is the origin right here. X0, Y0 is right here. If you hold down the scroll wheel, hold down the scroll wheel and keep it and hold it down while you move your mouse, you can pan. That's very helpful to know. All right. Now, what we need to do is we need to start sketching. Now, you may have your drawing from yesterday, but you don't need it because I'm going to take you through this very slowly. We are creating the T-slot cleaner. The T-slot cleaner is used to clean out the T-slots on the milling machine in the shop, okay? Sometimes you get metal chips down in there, and it's even hard to vacuum out because it's oily, it's hard to vacuum. So the T-slot cleaner allows you to scrape the T-slots and clean out the metal chips. All right, now we are going to, the overall dimensions of this part is 6 inches by 1 1/4. So we're going to go to rectangle right here. Click on rectangle. And then you come down and you select rectangle 2-point center. Click on that one. Now, your cursor, we're going to move it over here until it snaps to the origin. Okay, once it turns green, you can click with your left mouse button, and we're just going to drag out a rectangle. We're not putting any dimensions in yet, okay? Now, I just dragged out a rectangle. You see 2 dimensions. One defines the length, and the other one defines the height. Well, if yours is like mine, the length dimension is being asked of me. What do I want the length dimension to be? Do not worry that you can't see the geometry once we put these dimensions in, because we're going to zoom out and we'll be able to see it. The first dimension I want you to enter, just enter the number 6, because it's 6 inches long, okay? Now, Mr. Morris, how do we get to our height dimension? You hit the tab key. Do not worry that you can't see the geometry, but you do still see the dimension. Now, your dimension might be different than mine. That's okay. We're going to make it the same now. type in 1.125. Now, we are happy. Both of our dimensions are what we want them to be. Hit enter on your keyboard. Listen carefully now. Do a right click, select OK. Now you are out of that mode. Mr. Morris, I cannot see all the geometry. Take your scroll wheel and rotate it away from you. You should be able to see the entire rectangle now. Again, you can hold down the scroll wheel and you can pan as necessary. So you have control of your zoom. There's other ways to do this, okay? All right, now we're happy with this rectangle, right? Everybody who's doing this with me, we're happy with the rectangle. And don't worry, the videos will speed up a little bit later. We're just doing it slowly today. Select finish right here, and then select finish again. Mr. Morris, the view is now in the isometric. So what I want you to do, you can't see it possibly, or you might still be able to see your geometry, but in my case, I can't. I got to rotate the what? Scroll wheel. I might want to pan. All right. I have to give some depth to this part. We are making a three-dimensional part, so I have to give some depth to it. Okay. So select extrude here. Now, you see this little window here? You can hold down the left mouse button and you can reposition this window, but I don't usually move that, but you might want to possibly. You see, right now, it's wanting to add material to our two-dimensional drawing, or sketch rather. And it wants to add 1 inch. Well, I don't want it to be 1 inch. Our part is not 1 inch thick. And I don't want it to go in this direction because it's going into positive Z. The reason why, from the perspective of a machinist, we like the top of the workpiece to be Z0. Well, Z0 means I want to flip it in the opposite. Now this surface here in blue is Z0. That's going to come back to help us later on when we start working with the milling machine and we start doing CNC programming and stuff like this. I do not want this to be 1 inch thick. You can come over here where it says distance A, and I'm going to type in, let's see how, 0.125 is the thickness. Type in point, which is 1/8 of an inch, by the way. Hit enter. Do a right click. And guess what? When I do a right click, there's no OK. So you're fine. Just hit the escape key a couple times. By a show of hands, those who are able to do this, raise your hand and give me an indication that you have made this part so far. All right. So if you haven't made the part, you can watch the video. Did you get it back there? Okay, cool. I didn't see your hand go up, so I want people to raise their hand if they got this far. All right, good. Now, we need to make some modifications to our 3D model. So when we have to sketch our profile. We have to sketch our profile first. Go to Start 2D Sketch. Start 2D Sketch and click on this face. Now, I'm going to do it the hard way first, because sometimes by doing things the hard way, you have to do it multiple times, and it just helps you to learn it better. Go to Rectangle. Click on Rectangle and come down to right here, 2-point rectangle. Go to 2-point rectangle right here. Now, pick two arbitrary points. Don't worry about the dimensions right now. I'm going to click right here and I'm going to drag a box over like this. Click. Do a right click, select OK. Were you successful? Give me a thumbs up if you were successful or hands raised. Now, if you're successful, just hang on to your hat for a minute. I'm going to undo what I just did because sometimes you're going to make mistakes. Mr. Morris, how do I fix a mistake? Look, I'm going to hit this left arrow button up here, undo. It's gone. Now I'm going to go back to rectangle 2 point, and I'm going to draw those. Notice I didn't care about the dimensions. Right click, OK. Now what we're going to do is we are going to put some dimensional data in here. Up here on your menu bar, you have this icon called dimension. Click on that. Now, I would like for you to click on this edge right here. And I'd like for you to click on this edge, and then click on this one. And you're going to drag this dimension down. Click. When you click, it is giving you the opportunity to change the dimension. Okay. So I'm going to hit the backspace here. And the dimension I'm going to put in here is 0.375. And then click on the green check mark. What happened? It made that exact dimension, right? That exact distance. Okay. Now, you see we have a dimension of, well, you don't see this, but I need to give you this dimension right here. Go to your dimension icon again. Make sure that's clicked. Click on this edge. Click on this edge and drag down your dimension. Click. And we are going to change this one to 1.250 and hit enter. Okay. Do a right click. Okay. Now, I'm looking at this drawing here, and it looks like there might be a mistake with that dimension. So what I'm going to do, because it has to be able to fit down in the slot, let's change this one. Let's change this one to 2.250. Okay. And let's pause just for 1 second. Mr. Morris is going to check. I have questions about that dimension, so I'm going to check something. I'll be right. I'm checking my email. I think Professor Rollins might have made a mistake on this when he made a change. So hang on just a second. All right. I'm going to hang on. I'm going to stop my share just for a second. Just stay right where you're at. Hello again. And I'm going to check something here. Just pause for a minute. All right, I had to go back and verify this dimension here. We can go ahead and make this 1.250. That's fine. Okay. Everybody have that? And we are recording, so all right, now what I want you to do is I want you to put another dimension from this. See that center point right there? It's very critical that you click on that center point and then click on this line. And you can place this dimension off the part. Click. Now we're going to type in a fraction. Are y'all still with me? Notice I clicked on this center and I clicked on this line. I'm going to hit the backspace here and I'm going to type in 5 divided by 16, which is 5/16, which is half of 5/8. And click on the green check mark. There you go. Okay. That's half. All right. Now, guess what we're going to do? We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So go to rectangle, rectangle 2 point. Now watch. Click on 2 arbitrary points. Do a right click, OK. I'll do it again. Watch. I'm going to undo. Rectangle, rectangle 2 point. Click here, do a right click. OK. Now we're going to basically repeat what we did earlier. Okay. So we're going to go to dimension. We're going to click on this line and we're going to click on this line. We're going to drag our dimension off the part, click, and we're going to change this to 0.375 and select the green check mark, or you can just simply enter. You can just simply enter. Now we're going to repeat this. We're going to click here and this line here, bring our dimension up, click, and we're going to change this to 1.250. Click on the green check mark. All right. Now I have one more dimension to add. I'm going to click on my center point and then this line. And we're going to make this a fraction, 5 divided by 16. 5 divided by 16. Green check mark. All right. Now, I'm going to leave it there just for a moment, okay, to give you a second to catch up. Please raise your hand once you are where I'm at right now. If you're able to, I know some of you are not able to do this yet. Raise your hand once you are at this point. Make sure you check out all your dimensions, right? Make sure your dimensions are correct. By the way, while some of y'all are still adding those dimensions, we should probably do a file, save as. Hang on, it doesn't want me to do that. Do file, save. Oh, it doesn't want me to do that while I'm, okay, hang on, we're okay. We won't save yet. Raise your hand once you have this high, so I know who's high up in the air. Get some exercise, breathe in the oxygen. Once you're at this point, I'm only seeing 2 hands go up, so can you, if you can't see the dimensions, you're welcome to kind of walk up to the front of the classroom and see if you can see them on the board. Because I'm getting ready to extrude this. Okay. I'm getting ready to extrude this. So I want to finish the sketch. Yes, sir. From the center here, click from the center. You can, but I'm not ready to show that yet. That's why I said I'm showing the hard way first. Yes, we could do the mirror tool. Right now, I just want them to see how to do a basic extrusion. All right. I'm going to finish the sketch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude. Now, watch carefully. I'm going to click inside that rectangle and click inside that rectangle. Notice I clicked inside both of them, right? If I hit enter now, it's going to add material to this part. I don't want to hit enter yet. What I want to do is I want to flip. I want to flip it like this. And then I'll select OK. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Please raise your hand high so I can see if you're at this point. Okay. Now, I want to show you, just take a break for a second, and I want to show you the view cube up here in the top right-hand corner. This is the view cube, right? I click on front. That's the front of the T-slot cleaner. And you can click on these arrows. That's the right side. Click on the arrow again. That's the back, left, front. Click on these arrows. And you can rotate this however you wish. You also have these rotation arrows here. Sometimes you have to manipulate your view. If you want isometric view, Mr. Morris likes to do the isometric view. I click on the corners. I like to model my parts sometimes in the isometric view. Okay, that's the isometric. Come here and click on these corners here. And if I want to get back to where I was at, I click on front, click on that. Okay. Now, we got to do some more whittling away here. You okay? You good? That's okay. You got the video. If you miss something, you got the video to go back to watch. But you can still practice with us as we do other things. Okay. So if you're not exactly with me, you can practice doing other things. Okay, in case you missed a step. All right. And I'm doing this the hard way. I said that in the beginning, that there's easier ways to do this. but I have to show you the basics first. Go to Start 2D Sketch, Start 2D Sketch, and click on this face. Now what I want to do is I want to create an angle here, a triangle. So here's what we're going to do. Watch carefully. Go to line. Go to line. And then select line again. Now, what I want you to do, watch carefully. Notice when I move my cursor, what happens? It turns green at that point. As soon as it turns green, click. And I want you to draw two lines like that, okay? Now I want you to draw another line from here, going up like this, straight up. Left click, right click, okay. Okay. Now watch, I'm gonna undo this so you can see how I did it. I want the line, I clicked on this point, click, it's green, watch. I'm gonna come off the part like this, click. Now, I want you to notice something. There's a way to, if you come, without clicking, if you come down here and you touch this point and you move it straight up like this, you will see an inferred line here. But maybe that might be too hard for y'all to do. I tell you what, just do this. Just come over this way a little bit. Do a left click, right click. Okay. Now, I'm going to draw another line. I'm going to go straight up like this. Click, right click. Okay. So I created a triangle like that. All right. Now I'm going to go use my trim. I'm going to trim here and here. Do a right click. Okay. Now what I want to do, and I hope this works, is go to dimension. I'm going to click on this line and this line, and I'm going to put an angular dimension here of 60. Now I'm going to do this one more time. Raise your hand though if you got this. That's awesome. Okay. I'm going to undo it one more time. Watch, I'll hit my undo button. Because this is pretty, quite a bit of stuff going on here. Watch. This time I am going to use the mirror function because I don't have to go through all this again. Go to line. I'm going to click right here. At this point, click. I'm going to drag it off at an angle. Click. I'm going to come back straight across. Click. Right click. Okay. Now I'm going to go to line, draw a line from this point, go straight. Make sure you go straight up. You got to go straight up. Left click, right click. Okay. Then I trim it. I don't care how big this triangle is, but I do care about the angle. I do care about the angle it makes right here. And I'm going to change that to 60 degrees. Select the green check mark. Yay, that's what I want. I'm going to finish the sketch, and I'm going to extrude that. Now, you're going to have to select 2 halves of your triangle there. I had to select 2 halves of it. And I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to flip it right here. There's the arrow to flip it right there. Select OK. Now, you see this? I don't want to have to go through that exercise again. So here's the beauty of the mirror function. If you go up here Go up here to your browser. This is your browser. And by the way, we might want to do a save here. Do a file, save as. Now we can do a save as. And we're going to call this T slot cleaner. Sorry. And I'm going to put 2024 on here. T dash slot dash cleaner dash 2024, save. All right. Now look, when I just changed that file name, what happened on my browser? See right there? That's the name of my file. Come down to where it says origin and expand that. There's a reason why I want to do this. I'm going to use the mirror function. And we're going to go down until we find this plane. Do a right click on that and turn on the visibility of that plane. Mr. Morris, why are you turning on the visibility of the XZ plane? Because that is my mirror plane. That's what I'm going to mirror. So at this point, watch. I'm going to select mirror right here. Here's the icon that says mirror. Click on mirror. And then it wants me to select a feature. Well, I'm going to select that feature right there. And then now it wants me to select a plane. Click on that plane. That's the mirror plane. All right. I'm going to cancel that share one more time. Look, if I'm even going to undo that. Come over here, expand your origin by clicking on it. Come down and find that plane, right click, turn on the visibility of it. Go up here to mirror. And it says right here, it says, what feature do you want to mirror? Well, I'm going to click on that feature right there. Now it says we got to click on mirror plane, click here, and then we're going to click on this plane, and we're going to select okie dokie here. All right, guess what? Is it yours mirror? Raise your hand if you were able to get yours a mirror. Very good. I'm going to do a file, save. Now I know everything is saved. We're making good progress here. We should be done here in about 10 minutes with the model, if not sooner. All right, now what I want to do is I want to put a hole on this center line here. Oh, by the way, what you're seeing there, you're still seeing the plane. If you want to turn off the visibility of that plane, all you have to do is go over here on your browser, do a right click on this, and turn off the visibility, and it's gone. So now I want to start 2D sketch, and I'm going to click on this face. Yes. Okay, I'm going to pause here just for a quick second. You hit your escape. Something's not right. Right click. Did you create a plane there? Picture on there. Okay. Right click. Okay. Sorry if that little bit of a delay there, but we're back on track here. What I want you to do now is I'd like for you to go to circle, select circle, center point. Now watch. I'm just going to put that circle right there, just like that. Mr. Morris, that looks nothing like the circle on the thing we're going to be making. You don't have the drawing in front. You might if you brought it back with you today. So we need to properly locate the center of the circle, and then we need to change the diameter of the circle. Okay. So go to dimension, click on this edge, click on this center, drag your dimension off the part, click, and we're going to make this 0.313 and hit your green check mark. All right, so far so good. Now we want to move this so that it's centered. So I'm going to click on the center point here and this center point, and we're going to make that 0. Because I want it to be right on that center line. Now what I want to do is I want to change the diameter. So make sure you selected the dimension icon, click on the edge of the circle, and you're going to drag off the dimension. And this dimension needs to be 0.250 and select the green check mark. And please raise your hand once you have got to that point. All right, so everyone there? All right, I'm back. We made that 0.250. Now I'm finished with the dimensions. I've located the hole. It's the right diameter, and I'm going to finish the sketch, and I'm going to extrude. Look, it automatically, what did it do? It automatically selected the last closed profile. I don't have multiple profiles here. That's why it did that. If I had multiple profiles, closed profiles, I would have to individually go in and check those off, okay, by clicking in the, in the center region of the profile. I'm going to flip it and select OK. I hope you have something that closely resembles this so far, because we really have two more things to do to it. Then we'll change the material, and then we will make the drawing of this. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to get back in the isometric view. We're going to round these corners, this corner here and this corner here. And also we're going to round off these edges here a little bit. The reason why is because we don't really want sharp edges. We don't want sharp edges because sharp edges can be dangerous to people who are handling parts. And we don't want people to get hurt. So just keep that in mind when you design things in the future, that you don't want anyone to get hurt necessarily if they're working with this partner. So we're going to go to fillet right here where it says fillet. Select fillet. And right here where it says select edges, you want to make sure you put in 0.125 there. Okay. Now watch. I typed in 0.125. I'm going to click on this edge. Now watch. That edge right there. And this edge right here. And select OK. Okay. All right, I'm gonna do a right click. I don't need to select OK. I don't even see it OK. So just hit escape a couple times. All right, hopefully everyone has this. By show of hands, who has this? We won't be moving this slow. We'll be speeding this up some every time we have a new class. Good, you're staying with me. Now, there is a slight, we have to remove some material from this edge here, and we have to remove some material from this edge here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Start 2D sketch, click on this surface. Now watch, I'm going to draw just an arbitrary rectangle look like this. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to dimension from here to here. And I'm going to put in a dimension of 0.0625 is what I'm going to put in there. That's the only one. Click on the green check mark. All right. Then I'm going to finish the sketch, and I'm going to extrude this, not this way, but I'm going to flip the direction, and it's going to remove that material, select OK. All right, when I get back into my front view using my isometric view here, or view cube, you can see now the distance from here to here is less than from here to here. Now I'm going to repeat that. Start 2D sketch, click on this face. I'm going to draw a rectangle, 2 point here and here. All right. Right click, OK. I'm going to do that again. Start 2D sketch, click on this face, go to rectangle, 2 point, click here, right click, OK. Dimension, I'm going to click here, and we're going to change this to 0.0625 and the green check mark. All right. So now we're going to cut this. We're basically removing material there. Finish the sketch. I like being in isometric view when I do it. Here's how you do the isometric, right? You click on that corner. You can zoom in and out. You can pan. Extrude. I'm going to go the opposite direction. Select OK. Now, this is what our T-slot cleaner is going to look like when we're done machining it. Okay, so you're working on that right now, which is good. So I want to give this a material designation. Right now, the material is this generic. It's generic, okay? Material. Raise your hand if you're here. Only one person? Oh, several people raised their hands. Okay. Are you here too? Still working? May, you with us?
Dimension, which lines have you mentioned?
What dimension?
The which lines? Like, I don't know if do is just which lines.
That dimension there? Is that what you're talking about?
No, which lines? I know the dimension is which lines we put.
I'm not sure what you're asking.
When you dimension it, which lines do you click? Change it.
When you dimension the, okay. Right here, click here, you click here, and drag that off. 0.0625 is the dimension distance. Green check mark. Okay, so there it is, 0.0625. It rounds it up to 0.063. I'm going to finish the sketch, and I'm going to get into the isometric view, and I'm going to extrude that, but I'm going to do it in the opposite direction because I want to cut material, not add it. Let me show y'all what happens if I do this. See, I don't want to do that. That would not be a good grade. Okay. So I'm going to I'm gonna hit the undo here. Record. I'll come back in a little bit, okay?
Can you email about the schedule for here?
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, so I'm gonna extrude this. Go this direction, select the okay. All right. Now, this is our part. This is our part. And we want to give it a material designation. All right, we want to give it a material designation. And so here it goes. Here's how you give it a material designation. Over here on your browser, this is called your browser. If you notice on the browser, it does everything in the order in which you did it. And look, if you hover over extrusion 1, May you see that? Extrusion 1, there's extrusion 2, extrusion 3, there's a mirror image, there's extrusion 4, there's the fillet, there's extrusion 5, and we remove the material so that it puts everything in order in which you do it, okay? Chronological order. Now we need to go up here to the model. This is the model. Do a right click on that file name, actually. Do a right click on the file name. And I want you to go down to where it says iProperties and click on that. And what we're going to do, come over here where it says physical. And the material designation says generic. We want to arrow down. And we're going to find aluminum 6061. So here it is, aluminum 6061. And apply and select close. All right, so we're going to do a file save, and there is our part. If you did this, congratulations, you have created your first 3D part. And for those who weren't able to do this today, please make sure you get registered and apply to the school, get your parents' permission so you can do this with us. Now, I'm going to get back into the isometric view because here's why. I want to show you how you have 2 submittals here. When you submit this to me, you have 2. One is a picture file and one is a PDF of the drawing file. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Go to File. Now, you might want to start bringing a flash drive. If you don't have a flash drive today, you might want to email this to yourself. You might want to email both your PNG and the PDF. So again, either you bring a flash drive or you email these parts to yourself so that you can submit them in Canvas. One more time, you either bring a flash drive where you save it to your flash drive, or you email the files to yourself, then you can submit them in Canvas later. Most students are able to submit in Canvas that day. Problem is, some of y'all might not be in Canvas yet, okay? So right here, I'm going to go to, we've already added the material. So go File. We want to export as an image file. And by the way, Mr. Morris likes for you to select the PNG as a quality picture file. Save. Remember what directory it's in, okay? What folder it's in, and save it. Now you have a PNG picture that you can use in PowerPoint, you can use in Word, you can use in Excel, or any document for that matter, right? PNG file. You can send this to someone who doesn't have CAD software at home, so they can see what it looks like. Maybe you're working with a team of people on a project and you have CAD software, they don't, but they want to see the status of the project. You can send them a picture. All right. Down the lower left-hand corner, you see T-slot cleaner. This is the part file. Now we're getting ready to create our drawing file from this. We're getting ready to create our drawing file. And I have to pick up the pace a little bit, but that's okay. I think we might go a little bit over. If you have to leave early, remember you can watch the rest of this online. So I'm gonna go to File. I'm gonna speed up a little bit here. New, and still English, but we're not gonna do a part file this time. We're gonna do a drawing file. By the way, ANSI stands for American National Standards Institute, and IDW is Inventor Drawing File. And then create. Now, notice the lower left-hand corner, you still got your part file and you got your drawing file. This is a size D sheet of paper. I don't want to use the size D. I want to use the size A. Come over here to your browser. Where you see sheet 1, do a right click on sheet 1 and go to edit the sheet. Okay, what you're going to do now, is you're going to change this to a size A. Size A, and I want you also to change it to portrait. Change it to portrait, and then select OK. So here is our drawing format here, and here is our part file. Now what I want to do is I want to click on base. Now this is the beauty of this software. I click on base. That looks a little small to me, so let's make it, change the scale here to 3/4. And even we might be able to get, let's see here. Let's try a scale of 1. Actually, the scale of 1 works fine. Okay. So here's our part. And I'm going to hold that. If you move the cursor, notice if you move the cursor near the part, what happens? You see a red box appear. It's a ghost image of a box, right? Hold down the left mouse button and you can move this wherever you want, but make sure you stay on the drawing. Now we need to start adding some dimensions to this, and we may have to adjust as we go along. Well, that's fine. Mr. Morris, how do we add dimensions? Well, go up here to annotate. Up here where it says annotate. And I'd like for you to come over here in the middle of the menu bar and select center mark. Click on the center mark. Click on the center mark, and then come down and select the circle. that puts a center mark at the hole location. Do a right click, OK. By the way, if you want to stretch this center mark out, if you move your cursor near the center mark, you see these grips appear. Hover above one, hold down the left mouse button, and you can stretch out your grips. Hold down the left mouse button and stretch out your grips. Okay. All right. You can actually pull this one all the way across, but that doesn't look good. So what I'm going to undo that last one. Just leave it like that. I'm going to show you another way to put in the center mark. Do the bisector right here. This is called the bisector center line. Click here, click this edge, and click this edge. Do a right click, cancel. All right, now again, I'm going to hover above that grip. I'm going to hold down my left mouse button. I'm going to drag it over this way. All right. I hope you have this. I get to move a little bit faster now because it's 9:14. I have 30 more minutes here. But the dimensioning tool, once you start putting the dimensions on here, it you're just repeating yourself. So I go to dimension, watch, I'm going to click here, and here, and I'm going to drag down the dimension. And I'll show you how to change the number of decimal places. Go to precision and tolerance right here. And we're going to click arrow down, change this to 3 decimal places, change this to 3 decimal places, select OK. I'm going to do another dimension so you see how I'll do that. Look, go to dimension, click here, drag your dimension down. Notice there's only 2 decimal places here. Let's say they want 3. So we just come over here under precision and tolerance, arrow down, change this to 3 and 3 decimal places. Okay. And then the overall dimension here, I'm not going to put 3 decimal places here. I'm just going to leave it as 2. So, okay, right click, okay. I'm going to move this up just a little bit. Now what I want to do is I would like to add a vertical dimension here. So go to dimension and you can zoom in and out, right? You can pan just like before. I'm going to put a dimension right here. Okay. Now, I need to figure out why this dimension is not correct because based on we removed, it's supposed to be, let me check something. This is a good practice here. So that's 1 1/8 right there, right? That's 1 1/8 right there. That really should be 1.250. So, Mr. Morris, how do I fix that? You get into a panic, right? So you can come back over here to this one, to your model, okay? And we're going to go to this extrusion right here. I'm going to expand it, and I'm going to do a right click on this edit to sketch. And this dimension here should not be 1.125. You can double click on that dimension, and I'm going to make it 1.250. And I'm going to click on the green check mark. Finish the sketch. Finish the sketch. Now, if I go back to I'm going to file, save this. File, save, go back to my drawing, which is the lower right-hand corner. Now, when I go and watch what happens when I click on this, that's 1 1/4 now, right? And this is where it should be at 1.125. They rounded. So I'm going to double click on that dimension and I'm going to change the tolerance to 3 decimal places. Very good. All right. So Mr. Morris made a mistake, but look how quickly it even updated the drawing. It updated the part and it updated the drawing. So that's a nice feature. That's why they call it parametric modeling. All right. I hope you stayed with me on that, but now we need to see one other thing here. I'm going to mention this. I got a feeling this might not be, no, this is correct. All right, so this dimension is correct. I want to change it to 3 decimal places and say, okay. Now, I don't want to leave it on the part like that. You're not really supposed to leave dimensions on parts. You're not supposed to leave dimensions on parts. Mr. Morris, how do I fix that? You hover and look. You have to do a right click OK first, and then you can hold down your left mouse button and you should be able to drag that. Should be able to drag it. See that? I'm gonna undo it and show you one more time. Look. Hover till it turns red. You see the grips. Hold down your left mouse button and you can drag it like that. It's better to have your dimensions off the part. We also have an angular dimension. So we can click here. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it a little bit different than Professor Rollins. I'm going to put that dimension right there and select OK. All right. I'm hoping you're keeping up with me, but if not, you can watch this video to stay up with me. Now I need to add the dimensions of this hole here. So I'm going to click here and the center line of that hole. Now watch. I'm trying to make sure that my spacing between my dimensions are uniform. That makes a nice, neat drawing when you do that. So I'm going to try to make sure that this dimension over here stays roughly the same location as far as the distance from the part. I'll show you one more time what I did. I went to dimension, clicked on the center, drag. Now watch, I come over here and I kind of like kiss that dimension here for a second, right? And then you move that little yellow dot back over this way and you'll see, and then do a click and say, okay, those dimensions are lined up now. We need to put this dimension here from here to here. And say, okay. Now we need to dimension this hole. Watch, go to dimension, just click on the edge of the hole, and you're going to drag your dimension up like this. I'm going to put it here. Right click OK. Now I have to put another dimension right here. What you have to do is you have to keep moving along that arc until you see that little circle with a radius symbol appear. Click. And I'm going to drag out a dimension just like that. And we're going to change that to 3 decimal places. I don't know why we made it 3, but that's okay. Right click, OK. All right. So it's good. I mean, make sure I have all my dimensions here. I think I'm getting close to having all of them here. This round, this is a round here. They use the fillet feature to create the rounded corner, but it has a radius of 0.125 and 2 places. Okay. All right. Mr. Morris wants to add one more dimension here. And then I'm going to be off to the races to finish this up. I want you to go back. Let's add this dimension first. Now, you know, Mr. Morris doesn't want you to put the dimension on the part, so you can do this. All right. Now, we don't really need this dimension, but we'll talk about it more later because we have it right here, really. This is half into the center line. So we don't need this dimension, but this is like what they call superfluous dimensioning, mean more dimensions than required. So, all right. Raise your hand if you've been able to stay up with me a little bit. That's very good. Don't worry, you'll get it. It takes time, but go back and make sure you watch these videos. All right, now what I want to do, I want to go up here, this tab says place views up here, the tab. Click on place views, go to projected, click on this view and come up at the 1 o'clock position like this. Do this. Do a left click, right click, create. I'm going to show you one more time. Watch. Go to projected, move your cursor till you see the rectangle, click, and come up at the 1 o'clock position. And I'm gonna come off the paper for right now. Left click, right click, create. Now I'm gonna take that little and move it right back, take that rectangle. You see the rectangle appear, right, as you approach the view. Hold down the left mouse button and you can reposition this. Now, if we want to add the shading to this, you have to move your cursor near the part. You will see the rectangle appear. As soon as you see the rectangle appear, do a right click and select Edit View. And we're going to make it shaded. You click right here for shaded, select OK. All right, now we're getting close. I think Mr. Morris will be able to pull this off, I hope. We're not going to put the notes. He has the notes on the drawing, but we're not going to put those notes on there. I'll show you how to add the notes later because of time. But I do want to add the name of the views. So go back to annotate up here at the top left, click on annotate, come over here where it says text, click on text, take your cursor, come down below. The label should always be below the view, not above it. I see a lot of students put the label above the view. That's not correct. Come down here, click, and we're going to type in front view, just like it's just like using Word now at this point. Hold down your left mouse button and highlight this, make it bold and underline, select OK, do a right click, OK. And what we're going to do, we're going to hover above this label, hold down the left mouse button, and we're going to reposition that. We're going to do the same thing, text, come over here below this view, click, and I'm going to type in ISO view. Notice these are all capital letters. They should be all uppercase letters. All right. That's ISO view. Do a right click. Okay. Catch your breath for a second. Okay, I've got my front view with all my dimensions. One thing we don't have here is we don't have a top view, and I could add one, but I can also just put a note on here. I could say, go to text, come down here, the lower left-hand corner, excuse me, lower left-hand corner, click, and we can say material thickness equals 1/8 of an inch. Okay. You can highlight that if you wish. I'm just going to leave it. Oh, by the way, you can click in front of that M and put in note, colon. So I got note, colon, material thickness equals 1/8 of an inch. Say okay. Right click, okay. Now look, I don't like the position of that. I can just hover, hold down my left mouse button, and reposition that. There's some notes on the drawing that Professor Rollins gave you here. We're not going to add those notes because it's a good idea to add notes when necessary, but we're going to show you how to make this part in the shop. And sometimes machinists might have two different approaches to do it. If you put the notes and the steps in order, what happens is they're going to follow that procedure. Give the machinist the flexibility to make it how they wish. It doesn't matter as long as the part looks like it's supposed to look and it has the correct dimensional data. All right. All right. Last thing, we have to fill out this title block, and then we have to print this out as a PDF. So raise your hand if you were sort of able to keep up with me. That's good. All right, I'm gonna file and save this. Save. And we're gonna save it. We haven't saved it. And notice when I saved it, look what it did. It put down this title down, which is fine. Leave that just like it is. All right, now we got to fill out the title block, and then we have to print this as a PDF. Then you have a PNG and a PDF to submit for the T-slot cleaner assignment. And I think I might have that open, but if I don't have it open, I will soon. You can submit it. Make sure you email it to yourself. Make sure you email it to yourself, both the PNG file and the PDF I'm getting ready to show you how to create. But first, we have to do the title block. Come over here to the browser where it has the file name, do a right click on that, go to iProperties, and we're going to go to Summary. The title of this is T, all uppercase letters, T-slot cleaner. T-slot, the subject is CAD 140. Okay, the author is you. You are the author. Put your name. I'm putting my name, you're putting your name because you're the author. Uppercase letters. Your last name is sufficient. Manager, that would be me. Morse. Company, type it all out. Virginia, Peninsula. Community College. All right. T-slot cleaner, CAD 140, your last name, my last name, Virginia Peninsula Community College. You don't have to write anything under this line, but you can say, you can type in some comments here. You could say something like, practice using Autodesk. This is not going to show up on your title block. Okay. Now go to project. The next tab says project, right? Come down where it says designer. You are the designer. Put your last name. You are the engineer. Put your last name. I am the authority. Put my last name. Okay. So boom, boom, boom. Designer, engineer, authority. Your last name, my last name. Go to status. And checked by you, uppercase letters, click on the date. Engineer approved by you, put your last name, click on the date. Manufacturing approved by me. You're not going to make it till I approve it. Check on the date. Apply. Oh, yeah. Go ahead and say apply. Close. Do file, save. Now, we got a nice professional looking title block here. Again, the drawing that Professor Rollins has notes up here. I'm not going to do that because we'll do it later. I'll show you how to add notes to your drawing. You just use the text button is what you use. But because of time, I want to go ahead and show you how to save this as a PDF. And I'm going to go into Canvas and you might be able to submit this today. So go to File, and we're going to save. I'm sorry, File, Save first. File, Save. Do File, Save, right? Save our title block. And now File, Export. Export as a PDF. And Save. All right. Now, if you want to print this, I don't want to tie up the printer. But I'm going to show you how to print this. We're just not going to follow through with it. Go to File, Print. Now, for those students who don't have access to Canvas yet, you might want to print this, but you might just want to email the stuff to yourself too, though. That might be the best way of doing it. If I want to print this, I can do a preview of this. And look how thick the, let me zoom out here. You see the margin, how thick that margin is? And look, the drawing goes off the page here. We don't want that. That looks horrible. Don't turn in anything that looks like this. I'm gonna close this out. Now watch what I'm gonna do. File, print. I'm gonna do a little slight change here. I'm gonna rotate by 90 degrees, and I'm also gonna say best fit. And I'm gonna preview it. And that looks cool. That's what I want. And I can say print. And say okay. And it's gonna print that out. All right. So that completes this video. And you can hear the printer going off in the background here. Please make sure you watch it again. If you finished the PNG and if you finished the PDF, you can submit this today in Canvas. All right, but I have to go make sure the assignment is open. All right, I'm going to stop my share here. And I'm going to say goodbye. Hope you're doing well. Take care. And close this out.